Let me tell you a simple story about how a pimple could turn out to be something worse. Maybe you've done it before, maybe you plan on doing it right now, but let me tell you this. Maybe you should think twice about popping that pimple.
Hala, bugas! Sama din ako makita ni Zuri.
Pero wait, nakoy idea. Basin ka ba ni akong mga silingan unsay akong buhaton?
Nakoy bugas, unsan ni nako?
Subukan mo lagyan ng toothpaste, mawawala rin yan.
Talaga?
Oo, try mo.
Ako rin siya buthon day. Buti lang na, mawala ra na, promise.
Pwede na?
Butala na.
Ay, naki-crush no. Ay, ang crush na day, pero mawala na imong bugas.
Di ay?
O, mo pa na sa akong buhat sa una.
Ang crush day. Sige, sige.
Na, ayaw dyan na siya butha day. As an esthetician, delikado dyan na diradapitan.
Ngan?
Pakonsulta og tarong og doktor, daraw, taga-anti kag number sa doktor sa kusiling.
Wow! Salamat kayo, ma'am ha. Muato ko ron.
Yes, okay, welcome.
Kaya,
Magpa-doktor pa ko. Naman ko exam og maoy. Kaya naman siguro na baton na ako. Tira siguro na maunsa. Akong maunsa? Risi!
Rosalie went on, not knowing the predicament that awaited her.
Lo, kunala man ni. Ay, sige lang. Study lang sa ako, aron makapasar.
Several hours later, Rosalie found herself in a far from ideal situation.
Nabadas akong ulo, oy. Dili ko pwede masakit. Kaya na ako may exam mo niya. Dapat ko mapasar. Tumar na lang. Wala, maubag man na akong mata. Exam na pa dyan.
But this wasn't the end of Rosalie's symptoms. Despite drinking medicine, it only got worse. Until...
Hello? Is this the clinic of Dr. Katubig? Can I walk in for a checkup? I have a pimple and I popped it, and I haven't been feeling very well since then.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Good morning, Miss Rosalie. I'm glad you're able to make it here today.
Hello, Doc.
Please take a seat. So, you popped a pimple. You see, Miss Rosalie, the pimple is not popped. The area is what we call a danger triangle of the face. The different symptoms you told me over the phone last night, are they still the same today?
Yes, Doc. What should I do?
Well, Miss Rosalie,
Okay, team, we have another case for today. Pop a pimple on the danger triangle.
Agoy! Danger triangle!
Dr. Epidemiology, what is our plan of action?
Well, this is a rare acquired condition. Around 50% of these cases comes from the nose or nasal pharyngals, just like what you see in Rosalie right here. Of course, for this case, signs and symptoms first. Do the honor, Dr. Manifestation.
Looks like our patient initially experienced headache, swelling in her left eye after she popped a pimple on her nose. This was later accompanied by fatigue and weakness. A day later, she became feverish. Her vision started becoming blurry. She had difficulty in moving her left eye and her headaches kept getting worse. She checks all important markers for cavernous sinus thrombosis. Am I right, Dr. Anatomy?
Exactly. Looks like she has a problem with the cavernous sinus, specifically cavernous sinus thrombosis, where there is a blood clot, usually due to an infection. You see, the cavernous sinus is found on both sides of the sphenoidal bone and pituitary gland. If you look at the embryology, at 13 to 15 weeks of gestation, the cavernous sinus at this stage are just many irregular shaped spaces or lumens with faint clusters of small vessels. It then continues to increase in size and number at 18 to 23 weeks. And at the 23rd to 28th week, large venous lumens are formed and the spaces between these lumens are reduced. It eventually becomes the structure that we see here right now. The cavernous sinus, once fully formed, is not that big, but it can lead to big problems. It has large sinusoidal venous spaces containing very important nerves to your eyes and face, like the oculomotor nerve, trochlear nerve, abducens nerve, and the two branches of the trigeminal nerve. But it's not just that. We also have the internal carotid artery over here, which we know is the main blood supply of the brain. And well, problems can arise because it's connected to the venous system of the brain, either through the superior or inferior pituitary sinus going to the straight or transverse sinus.
Yes, that's why we see swelling due to the connection with the cavernous sinus. This swelling happens in 24 to 48 hours.
Exactly, like I said, there are tons of vessels and nerves associated with them. But the thing is, this system doesn't have valves, so the blood flow does not go into one direction only. Like I said, the cavernous sinus is one of the several drainage pathways that sits in the middle of the brain. So it can literally move from your face going into the deeper parts of the brain. That, my fellow doctors, is pretty dangerous.
I agree. Infections in the face, specifically in the Bermuda Triangle right here, can allow for the infections to spread, especially staph infection. Good thing we have antibiotics now, which made the infection for cavernous sinus thrombosis go down from 100 to 20 or 30%.
That means that we have to put her on antibiotics too because she has fever. While her symptoms are definitely manageable, so it's good that she's here while it's still early. Most of these Rosalie's kind signs are early signs, including the fever, headache, and orbital swelling. But the spread of the swelling to the opposite side is telling us that the problem has already spread to the cavernous sinus on the other side.
Interesting. And how about the nerves you mentioned about, since they pass the cavernous sinus?
Well, multiple nerves pass through the venous sinus, and that includes the muscles to our eyes, extraocular muscles. It seems like cranial nerves 3, 4, and 6 have been affected because Rosalie has been having difficulty in moving her eyes, probably due to the compression from the thrombosis. Although the optic nerve isn't directly connected to the cavernous sinus, the swelling of her eyes may have affected her optic nerve, thus the blurring.
Oh my! All of this because of a pimple? We really have to be very careful nowadays. So what will happen if we don't treat her on time?
Ayan na po, my friend. We will see bigger problems like worsening headaches and even seizures depending on where the blood clot goes. That's why we see that some people can have proptosis or bulging in the eyeballs because of how cavernous sinus gets blocked if thrombosis, of course. Some people can have permanent vision loss, permanent breathing problems, and damage to the brain. And if it gets worse, then...
Well, let's just do whatever we can to help Rosalie. So, is there anything else we need to consider before we proceed?
Her records also say that she has PCOS. So she's been taking contraceptives to treat them. Well, that actually put her at higher risk. So we have to take that into consideration too. Good thing she doesn't have diabetes and is not on immunosuppressants, chemotherapy, or steroid drugs, since those are other important risk factors that should be accounted.
Alright, sounds like we need to get her in labs and get her on treatment ASAP. Good job, team!
Alright!
Ms. Rosalie, you may have what we call a cavernous sinus thrombosis. And we need to get you treated before any complications happen. Don't worry, it's treatable so long as we make interventions ASAP.
But Doc, I have so many exams and I have to pass them all. I can't afford to be hospitalized.
Yes, but your health is more important than your studies. You can't take care of future patients if you're sick.
What do I need to do then?
Okay, let me explain to you the options and then you can decide. So, first of all,
Cavernous sinus thrombosis is a serious and fast-progressing disease. Know the history and early symptoms and save a life by doing early interventions. Stay vigilant, stay healthy, and stay curious for more.
Uy, Ros, kumusta? Nagayan mo na accent eh.
Okay ra ko, oy. Nasakit ra ko kay ako magibuto akong bugas.
Asa daw?
Dili ko kay. Tuwo ba ya?
Sige na ba?
Sige. Kani o.
Hindi ay. Guwa parang good yapon ka.
Mahalagang paalala, ang love life ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamiting panggamot para sa anumang uri ng sakit. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.